Hey, what's up, guys? It's your good old boy Twitter, Tweedle Tweet. Oh my god. Now, the reason why I am Twitter, the Twitter logo, not only am I a bird, but also because we're going to be talking about the history of the internet. The internet was opened to the public in 1990, but on January 1st, 1983, there was a prototype of the internet, meaning that this was only accessible for those that are in private agencies, which then later on was then brought to the public. Also, it is worth mentioning that even before that, it was a thought. It was in the works in 1950s, but these were still called prototype until the 1980s, specifically 1983. It was brought up saying that something will be released that will quote-unquote change the future. And boy, were they right. Before the internet was publicized, when the prototype internet was first invented, January 1st, 1983, they tried sending a message from UCLA to Stanford, California. When they tried sending one message, login, one Stanford got the message and ended up sending 2 letters. Low. That was the first message ever sent. Keep in mind, these were sent by computers that would take up an entire room. Now, the reasoning for that was because not only was it not the best technology, but also because this is when the internet and them inventing this computer stuff first began. For them to start, it had to be really huge. And also because if any wiring would be cut out, there would be some extra wires that would substitute it. And also because the freaking huge bulging wires were actually really huge. I think I explained it pretty well enough. It took them a couple of years for them to make a computer that wasn't as big as an entire room, hence the reason why the internet was also publicized until 1990.
Imagine a world where every word ever written, every picture ever painted, and every film ever shot could be viewed instantly in your home via an information superhighway, a high-capacity digital communications network. What that would mean is you could transform your home into a mammoth interactive entertainment centre, with the odd stock exchange and shopping centre thrown in. It sounds pretty grand, but it all comes down to computers communicating. And in fact, that's already happening on something called the internet, that anyone in the world with a computer and a modem to connect it to a telephone line can subscribe to.
And this was the beginning of the internet. Now, it's a no-brainer how, for you to access the internet, you have to have a computer. So that's what people did. They purchased a computer. And luckily, it wasn't as big as a freaking room! But the way to connect to the internet is completely different than how we connect to the internet today. They used dial-up. I really hope you guys know what dial-up is. What's dial-up, you may ask? Buckle up, kiddos, because we're going to be explaining what dial-up is. Dial-up was the way to travel through the internet. It was used by AOL, also known as AOL Mail, which still exists to this day. Kinda surprising, until people realize they can use other browsers through dial-up, not just AOL. Also, if you guys were wondering, AOL stood for America Online. Now, I hear you guys may be thinking or yelling at me, wait just 1 minute! How does AOL equal to America Online? It doesn't make any sense! Well, just look at this. I hope that answers your question. Alright, so now to explain how dial-up worked. So dial-up worked like this. So you had to connect your computer to a phone landline. I really hope you guys know what a landline is. So guys, we have a bit of a problem. Now, as the time of this recording, I was editing like normal until the power got cut off, and then I accidentally dropped my mic in the process. So I had to deal with two things at once. One being I had to fix my mic, and second, the power went out. So, in the meantime, I'm just gonna have my friend take over what landline is. Wait, hold on. Alright, I eventually did get my power back on, but since I already have the audio of my friend already explaining it, I'm just gonna have her explain it. So, everyone give a round of applause to Emma.
So a landline is a home phone that is plugged into a wall. Most people have it, but really just don't really use it. Another strange thing about it is that if you were talking to someone on a landline phone, someone, which is in the same house of course, would take the other landline from another room because landlines have more than one phone plugged into it and interfere with the other person's phone call. Just uninvitedly join a conversation. One person could be on one side of the house and then somebody on the other side could jump into the phone conversation without warning.
We'll be back after these messages.
And open it back up, let's see how everything is. It's going pretty good. Hey, look, there's some people on. Whoa. Yellow. This is torture I'm going through. All of this editing. It's all torture. All in a downward spiral.
CompuServe combines the power of your computer with the convenience of your telephone to bring you hundreds of online services, like a complete set of encyclopedias and the AP Newswire. It helps you decide on investment.
Everyone's day with the new wild and wacky singing, talking Louie the Largemouth Bass.
It sounds a bit fishy to me.
Watch every time Louie senses you're near. This amazing mounted fish leaps to life.
Alright, everybody, give a round of applause to Cookie, aka Emma. Hey, you guys better be giving her a round of applause. I'm waiting, alright? Alright, good. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel for helping me out, because that's the only thing I can probably do to thank her. So now you know what landline is, let's continue. So, again, you'd hook your computer up to the phone landline. Now, keep in mind, while you're doing this, you could not use your phone, couldn't make any calls, nor could you answer any calls. Also, the internet speeds were very, very, very slow. Dial-up was not DLC, nor optic fiber, and it wasn't even close to Wi-Fi. Dial-up was strictly from the landline. If someone tried to call someone while the phone was plugged into the computer on the internet would crash and immediately go down. If someone was calling you, it'll make the normal ringing noise. It won't make a busy noise. And it was really hard to tell if the reason why they didn't answer was because either they were busy or they were on the internet. Also, forgot to mention that since the internet was getting so popular, that apparently people were buying 2 phone lines. Yep. So basically, they can use the internet and use their phone line without having to unplug from the internet back and forth. Also, in addition to that, there were fax machines, which, guess what? Also need to be plugged into phone line. So if you need to plug in your fax machine, looks like that's going to be connected to the landline. So what companies would do is they would do a bundle where you can have up to 5 lines for a good price. So you can hook up anything: phone, computer, fax, television, and more. It's gotten to the point where people didn't want slow internet nor wanted to be connected to the phone line. Now keep in mind, landline wasn't landline. The difference between the two is landline is a server where 2 or more computers can connect to, but it has to be on the same connection. It cannot be in a different connection, meaning that you had to be on the same Wi-Fi connection. A landline is connected by a phone line, by cable laid across land, typically either on poles or buried underground. So for about a couple years, AOL attempted to take over the internet, which they did for a good tiny period of time, and then died down since people got tired of AOL, and also their new updates were slowly looking bad and terrible. In 1992, this may seem surprising, Sprint was working on trying not to use dial-up. Crazy, am I right? Dial-up ran all the way until 2006. But let's back up a bit. Before the year 2000 exists.
Downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral.
Now, this is probably one of the most interesting and most strangest hacks that has ever happened in the internet's history. Now, this hack affected around 14 US cities and around a couple of states. Now, this hack happened in 1998, called Operation Sun Devil. Now, get this. What this hack did was, whenever someone went to the internet and typed down a website, no matter what the website was, it would redirect them to porn. I'm not even joking when I say that. So let's say you want to go to a website, alright? You type down the URL, you know, the link to the website you want to go to. As soon as you click enter, boom, it just redirects you to porn. And guess what? It took the authorities 2 months to take action. Now, you may be wondering, why is that? Why did it take them 2 months to take action? Well, mainly because people thought that it was a joke and that it wasn't actually happening. So the longer it stayed up, the harder it was to take down. But these only affected websites that had HTML. This is when HTML was really popular, and so a bunch of websites started using that type of format. The authorities took action once they themselves went to a website that had HTML in it. And boy, was it hard to stop them. DSL. And no, not DSLR. That's a camera. DSL. Or actually, it's called DSL modem, so I should have just said that instead. DSL stood for Digital Subscriber Line Modem. So, what a digital subscriber line modem is, it's a device used to connect a computer or router to a telephone line, which provides the digital subscriber line service for connectivity to the internet, which is often called DSL broadband. Now, basically, some people can argue saying, oh, this is basically like an upgrade to dial-up, which you'd be correct, because with this case, you would have to connect your computer to the modem and the phone line to that modem as well, which is quite interesting, you know? One surprising thing about it to some consumers out there was that this modem can connect to multiple computers throughout multiple Ethernet ports, and they can connect to the internet safely. And also, it was a lot easier to set up. Just watch how hard it was to connect to dial-up on my virtual machine. Now, obviously, yeah, I know it's a virtual machine, so it may not work, but just look at the steps they had to go through. So I'm now recording. Say hello to my entire school that's going to be watching this.
Hey, school.
Do you know what dial-up is?
No.
Well, congratulations, because I'm going to teach you how this works. This is where I'm going to show you and others how the internet was back then. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Oof! Welcome to Windows 95. We don't care about that, so you don't have to worry about that. But yes, this is how Windows looked like back in trust me, I know what I'm doing. So, do you know what AOL is?
Nope.
Well, AOL was the way to access the internet back then. It was one through dial-up, and you had to go through your phone line, and it was a hassle. So, I live in the United States. Whoa. Oh, yes, we still use American Online, and that's what we need. We are a new member, and this is good. Also, if you didn't know, the internet back then was really slow. Take example my internet, but like even more slower. Also, if you had dial-up, you couldn't call or be in the internet at the same time. So, if you wanted to make a phone call, you have to unplug your computer from the phone line to use your phone. I kid you not. Ooh, connecting to America Online. I know exactly what I'm doing. You believe in me?
Sure.
What? Connection failed. We're unable to connect AOL to your TCP. No! Connect me anyway, you know? Sign on. Yes, please. This is not helping me. Oh, no, actually, I'm a guest. Sign in. Why?
One eternity later.
That sound in the back with the dial-up when I was trying to connect was digital turning into analog, turning back into digital. And for those people in your class that are confused about what I just said, that means that it's transferring the display screen, like the actual screen, into coding, and then it's going back into itself so that you can actually view it. The internet.
Fun fact, ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. So if anyone asks you, what's your ISP, what they're asking you is, what is your Internet Service Provider? Examples of ISPs are Comcast, AT&T, Xfinity, Google Fiber, Spectrum, etc., etc. You get the point, I hope.
downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral.
The year 2000 was a mess for everyone because the internet, as we all know, runs through ones and zeros, you know, the most common tech, okay? Now, get this. So, the year 2000, that has 3 zeros, and the highest number that probably, according to a bunch of websites and other articles and stuff like that, it can only, the lineup code can only handle up to 2 or 1. So either 1 0 or 2 zeros. It can't handle 3. And so that was a big problem, especially when the year 2000 was going to hit. Hence the reason why 2000 was a pretty interesting year that day. But long story short, it was recovered, and this actually took almost the year 2000 for them to finish it. Well, resolved, fixed. You get my point, I hope. The present, today, right now. As of right now, I think we all know that the internet has evolved as to something that's humongous and technology that's advancing a lot, heavily a lot more. Humongous. I can't even find the right word for it. A lot of us take the internet a lot for granted, and so it's quite interesting on how the internet kind of evolved, because if it wasn't for the internet, then I wouldn't be doing this type of video to begin with. In other words, I know this video's been going on for way too long. I think it's time to end it now. Yep, that's right, guys. This is now the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, actually. I hope you guys learned something from this. I actually tried not to make it too long, but I also tried to make it entertaining on the way. So, yeah. So, again, I'm sorry that it was too long. I tried to make it funny along the way, but I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later. Peace.